Welcome guys back to another lecture. In this one we're going to talk about 3 plus color identifiers. So in the last one we talked about 2 color identifiers, so making sure we have established our 2 different glyphs and then creating our supporting cast of neutrals in order to make sure that our glyphs or identifiers are highlighted effectively in our scenes. Now we're going to be talking about how to do this when we have 3 or more color identifiers. So we're going to be talking about the color priority, examples of this, and a conclusion. Now, color priority. Now, when designing for having more than 2 color identifiers, there is a pattern to follow for the priority of color. And usually it's the first 3 are always primary. So your red, blue, and yellow. And the next would be the secondary colors. Your green, orange, and purple. And this is basically the priority that is established throughout the entire industry. So this is industry standard in terms of what type of identifiers are used from the highest priority to the lowest priority. In terms of the glyphs. So some examples, fast. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is pretty much based off 3 factions: yellow, blue, and orange. Instinct, Mystic, and Valor. Well, as you can see guys, they use the 3 primary colors in this representation. Take another example, Super Smash Bros. If you're playing 4 players, you could bet you know which type of colors are used in the first 3. It's going to be red, blue, and yellow. And then the last one is a toss-up. You could choose pretty much any color, but they obviously went with green. So this is those examples of different games using these types of priorities in terms of how to identify the glyphs in their respective games. So in conclusion, how this usually works. So consider how materials, mood, symbols, tones, and emotional impact go into the coloring of your character's environment and props. Now what I mean by that is obviously you're going to have to, give your players, a sense of emotion when you're designing your level. So you can't start using all different types of color identifiers, because then you just pull away from all types of different types of color psychology elements that you could reinforce in your scene. So you have to really choose which colors you want to use as an identifier, and then see how the other colors could help build out different types of elements, so your canvas or your color layout. But never forget how to use glyphs and neutrals to improve gameplay in general. Looking at our example on the right, the room is very dark green, it's very musty, but see how blue is used. Blue is pretty much a color identifier in this scene. And this is basically one of the main mechanics in the game, is the bomb. They choose blue so that it's a very represented color in this game, because it's one of the major colors that is used throughout the whole mise en scène. That it's very mystical, that it's very calming and powerful at the same time. Now, using these patterns, well, can be super effective to visually guide the player. So when it comes to glyphs, don't forget to keep it simple. Don't go too crazy and think that you're going to invent the wheel. Don't invent something that works effectively well. Because don't forget, you always got to make sure that a glyph that you are using is for the most minimalistic user base in terms of what they understand. So always design for them as much as possible. So that's it guys, when it comes to glyphs and neutrals and using 3 plus color identifiers. Always keep in mind of which colors you want to use as your identifier when you have 3 or more, so that you're still able to use different colors to influence the player with different psychological identifiers as well. And that's it guys for this little lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one.